Welcome back. I am Lara Jaye, and you're listening to the Wisdom Within podcast. And on today's show, we are diving right in on a unique concept you may not have heard of before. Did you know that much of what you are struggling with today isn't even yours? Now, it could be an ancestral issue, or you might be very energy sensitive and could have picked up someone else's energy, both of which we are going to be talking about in upcoming shows. That is not even for today's show. Now, as a reminder, this season 1 of The Wisdom Within is an overview of my newest book, same title, The Wisdom Within, Cracking the Secrets of Meaning, Purpose, and Security. And in it, I weave very personal stories with practical guidance and insightful wisdom, providing you with a roadmap, your own roadmap to unlock your own inner potential and find greater meaning and security within yourself. Today, though, is something quite unique we're going to be talking about. You may never have heard about it, and here it is. You could have actually taken on in the womb when your mom was pregnant with you and been born with whatever feelings, emotions, stressors that your own mother was going through when she was pregnant. So let me say that again. I know, huge, right? You may have actually taken on in the womb and been born with whatever feelings, emotions, stressors that your mother was going through when she was pregnant. So when a woman is pregnant, her body undergoes complex changes, obviously, to support this growing fetus. This includes the production of neurohormones, chemical messengers that carry information from the mother's brain to the developing fetus. These neurohormones can cross the placenta and affect the development of the fetus's brain and its future behavior and emotions. During pregnancy, a mother's emotions and thoughts can have a powerful impact on her unborn child. Studies have shown that a mother's stress, anxiety, and depression can affect the development of her fetus's brain and may even increase the risk of behavioral problems and emotional difficulties later in life. So just like alcohol and nicotine, whatever the pregnant mom is feeling or thinking is sending neurohormones to herself and her unborn child. Now, how I figured all this out wasn't exactly fun. So when I was born, it was 1967, height of the Vietnam War. My mom had just found out that she was pregnant with her second, and my dad he was in the Air Force, got sent to Vietnam for a year. So I did not see him until I was 6 months old. He was in Vietnam the whole time, way before cell phones and all of that. So I have no doubt that my mom was feeling a lot of anxiety, probably some depression, very insecure and curious and wondering her new husband, and now she has already one child that's under 1 and another one on its way. And so I can't imagine the hormones that were going through my mom's body as she was pregnant with me. But I can suspect, because of what I have dealt with a lot of my life. And with the other pregnancies, with the other kids, things were more settled. She was secure. My dad was there. But when she was pregnant with me, she wasn't. She wasn't settled. She was living at her parents' house again. And her new husband was fighting a war in Vietnam. So again, those feelings, those hormones, that loneliness, feeling abandoned, all of those were going through her body. And I have no doubt that after reading the studies and knowing what I've dealt with my entire life, feelings of awful loneliness and awful abandonment, even when I was surrounded by so many people, that I began to put all of these pieces together. And it wasn't making sense to me. I was living this, amazing suburban life and had all these friends and family. And I was so sad and so depressed and lonely and felt like I was going to get left at the drop of a hat. So it was really interesting when I figured this out. So this is huge. This was huge for me to figure it out. And then when I got divorced was when I really started to see it play out in my life. So I was married for 25 years, and then now all of a sudden I was attracting just a very strange group of people who were very emotionally and physically unavailable. I attracted homeless people. I attracted people who would leave me, who would stand me up on dates, who would abandon me on a date. So it was just, I would say it was comical, but it wasn't. It was very hurtful. And it took me a really long time to figure out what was going on. So events and circumstances and people just continued to be thrown at me when I least expected it. And then I would feel more lonely, more left behind, not fit in, rejected, and then just, more unworthy. And just was like this vicious circle over and over and over, rinse and repeat until the next layer. So I'd continually ask myself, what's wrong with me? What did I do to deserve this aloneness? Like, what is wrong with me? I'm like screaming to God. And of course, that's not a great question to ask. When you ask questions like that, you get answers that are along that line. So anyway, finally, I started to see the bigger picture, and this was an energy that I was holding. So you may have heard of the concept of the law of attraction. It's gained some significant popularity in recent years. I somewhat agree with it, somewhat not. This principle states, though, that we attract what we focus on, and that the energy we put into the world determines our experiences. So while this idea might seem abstract or even a bit woo-woo, there is a scientific basis for it. And it's based on the concept of energy and frequency, which is where I work. So everything in the universe is made up of energy, including our thoughts and our emotions. And when we have negative thoughts or feelings, we vibrate at a lower frequency and are more likely to attract negative experiences into our lives. So, on the other hand, when we have these positive thoughts and emotions, we vibrate at a higher frequency. It's like when you're in a really great mood and you have a lot of green lights, you hit all these green lights. And then other days when you're in a hurry and you're frustrated and everything seems to be going wrong, you hit every red light in life. Like that is the difference between being in flow and not being in flow, and the energy that you are putting out there. So this is why it's so important to be mindful of the energy that we are holding and the thoughts that we are thinking. So if we want to attract more abundance and joy and love in our lives, if we want to attract those green lights, we need to focus on the positive things and hold the energy of those things. It also means letting go of the limiting beliefs, the negative self-talk, and replacing them with positive affirmations and lots of gratitude and appreciation for wherever you are right now. I have no doubt that many of you are carrying around trapped emotions that aren't even yours. So regardless of where they came from, if they came from our mom, our ancestor, somebody else, we are responsible. I am responsible for managing those emotions that show up in my body and my energy field. I'm responsible for feeling them, for holding them, clearing them. And you're responsible if you actually want to grow in life, which I assume because you're listening to this podcast, you're very interested in self-growth. But if we carry feelings of loneliness and abandonment in our energy field, So we can attract more experiences like that make us feel more lonely and abandoned, which was what was happening to me. Now, my problem is I couldn't figure out where they were coming from. Like, why were they even, I didn't even know they were there. And I'm like, why are they even there in the first place? Again, it took me a bit to figure it out. And that is where I was taken. And if we constantly think that we aren't good enough for love and attention, we're going to attract partners who reinforce this belief, that treat us poorly or not give us the love and attention we crave. So, how can we break this cycle of attracting, whether it's loneliness, abandonment, or whatever energy is stuck in your energy field? The first step is to become aware of our thoughts and emotions. Now, we do this by, well, how do we do it? By going within, by practicing mindfulness and paying attention to the thoughts that come up. So once we know our thoughts and emotions, we actually, at that point, can challenge them. We can ask ourselves if our beliefs are true and if the evidence supports them. We can also work on developing a more positive and self-affirming internal dialogue. That's always important. We need a healthy relationship with ourselves, with other people. This means setting boundaries, communicating our needs, surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and support us. It's also about engaging in activities that bring us joy and fulfillment, hobbies, volunteering. What is it that makes you happy? Regardless of what emotions are stuck in your body or where they came from, again, ultimately, it's your responsibility to feel them, to heal them. Staying in this constant self-awareness, not a selfishness, but rather awareness of your inner landscape, is the key to healing and clearing. And that's exactly how I figured out what was going on. I just saw this repeated pattern. So look for the repeated patterns in your life. What is it that you're attracting? And then you start asking questions. You get curious. I got curious, like, why am I so lonely? Why do I attract people who make me feel even more lonely? Why do I attract people who abandon me, who leave me, who I think are going to leave me? Whether they do or not, I still feel like they're going to. So for me, it was about going within and getting quiet and asking those tough questions about what is it that I'm attracting? And then the next step is, okay, why am I attracting it? Where is it coming from? Where is the root cause? So for me, doing the intuitive work that I do, yes, I am able to go to the root and be able to see where it's at in the different layers of the energy field. Is it located in perhaps a past life? Is it located was it in the womb? Was it before I came in? Like, where is this energy at? And what am I allowed to clear? Whether it be from me or for a client. Those are the tough questions where you have to get quiet and really think through and ask yourselves, what's showing up in my world? And if it is coming from the womb, when you were a baby in your mom's belly, from what she was going through, how can we send healing? How can we go to that root and heal you as well as your mom? Because she's still carrying probably those emotions as well, unless she's cleared them. And that is the work. That's the deep shadow work that I do with myself. That's the deep shadow work I do with clients every day. This deep work is not for the faint of heart. It takes courage to look within. It takes courage to look at the root causes. It's not about blaming anyone. It's about honoring where everyone is and knowing that, hey, this energy is now in my body, in my energy field, and I want a different life for myself. I don't want to keep attracting loneliness. I don't want to keep attracting abandonment or alcoholics or this or that, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. If you want to choose a different life for yourself, and you can choose that, it's about doing the inner work to find the root causes and to clear those, and then regroup, focus on what it is that you really want to bring in your life. And that's what's so amazing about this work. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, please leave me a review and share this podcast with your friends. On the next episode, I'll be talking about alcohol abuse and other generational curses. And if you have any questions about what we covered in the show or would like to follow my projects, you can find me at larajaye.com and all the fun social media places. Links are below. Have a fantastic week ahead, and may you always seek your wisdom within.